And welcome back to Bitcoin Advisors channel. My name is Chris, bringing it to you here from Westlake Village, California. And we've got a lot of news to talk about today, including the Janet Yellen leak, aka why the market's pumping right now, the inflation numbers, Bitcoin's price action, the underlying market dynamics. We'll talk about the Nasdaq, the dollar, and we'll even touch on gold. And a few altcoins like Luna, Atom, XRP, and Cardano. I know I forgot to do those yesterday. So first things first, let's take a look at Bitcoin underlying market dynamics. And we've got open interest, which did take a leg up here from about 9.5 billion to almost 10 billion. So added about $500 million in interest overnight. And let's take a look at the funding rates, which right now they just went slightly positive. So again, paying to hold your longs, and but that's inconsequential at the moment. We want to see funding rates get above 0.1%, and that's when you're in the critical zone. And on the other side, the same thing, below negative 0.1%. Let's take a look at the global leverage ratio, taking a leg down here, slightly just over the last few weeks, slowly trending down. We want to see the leverage ratio really come down probably to this 0.16% or call it 0.15% for a real reset to happen, for that leverage to get washed out. And the fear and greed index here coming in at a 22. So we are still in the extremely fearful zone, but I do imagine some of those fears have been quelled or subsided as the Janet Yellen leak just came out. So let's jump in first off to I'll start off with that article from Janet Yellen, which basically Yellen's statement online yesterday for a short time was about what Biden's executive order on crypto is going to be. And basically, here's what it says. President Biden's historic executive order calls for coordinated and comprehensive approach to digital asset policy. This approach will support responsible innovation that could result in substantial benefits for the nation, consumers, and businesses. It will also address risks related to illicit finance, protecting consumers and investors, and preventing threats to the financial system and broader economy. Wow, that sounds pretty general, but that basically, if you read on into it a bit more, it says they're not going to ban Bitcoin. They're basically looking more after stable coins. Why? I think stable coins might be a threat to the new central bank digital currency, which I imagine they'll be rolling out, in the next year or two. And that's why. So everybody was afraid that they were going to ban crypto, or Biden was going to put some kind of a ban on it. That is now gone. So as you can see here, Bitcoin is off to the races. And let's jump into the shorter term price range action that we were talking about yesterday. And I'll put it on a 4 hour. And what did we say yesterday? Any kind of a 4 hour closure back above this region at, what did we say? Yeah, 40,200 yesterday. And that would likely give us a shot up to the 618 fib, which, if we throw that on right now, on a bullish retracement, we said, hey, if we get a shot up, that'll probably give us a shot up to 41,750. That has now been broken. And I do imagine we do at least revisit the highs here. Let's take a look at if we got any bearish divergence forming. No, we do not. Nope. Yeah, maybe coming back from this point here. And you see volatility is getting up to the over the 90 percentile. So this move looks like it is beginning to wane on the 4 hour. And did we get a closure below the no, we haven't got a close below. So as long as Bitcoin is closing above the topside Trillinger band on the 4 hour, trend is in motion. We are also getting the silver cross right there. I think it'd be perfectly fine for Bitcoin to come back down and test this 40,200 level. However, we just don't want to see any 4 hours back below there. And what else did we talk about? So I do imagine Bitcoin puts in a short-term pullback here. Let's take a look on the hourly and maybe comes back and retest the 21 at 41,300. But it looks like onwards and upwards from here, we are getting the golden cross on the hourly time frame. That is typically a good sign. The last time we got a golden cross was right here. And you can see Bitcoin from the cross. And look, we had the first closure below and then off to the races. So that's looking good for Bitcoin's price action to head up and maybe test the highs here. That's on the shorter term time frames. Now, what have we been specifically talking about on the higher term time frames, which the higher the time frame, the bigger the move is going to be. And what we've been saying is, look, we're waiting for a daily closure above 46,000 to get the next move up to 52. And now I would go ahead and lower this and say any kind of a daily closure below 37,000, likely going to be some continuation to the bottom side of the range with a small bounce. And then small bounce, and then probably revisits the 29 to 30 range. And that's really where we don't want to break. But as of right now, looks like party is on to the upside. And, let's just do a little fib retracement here to see where the 618 is coming in at. And what do you know? We're right there right now, and that's your classic bull trap area. So if we do get stopped out here and then we do come back below the 382, that would be a classic bull trap, and I would expect this thing to just keel on over. What else do I want to talk about? So that's going to wrap up Bitcoin on the short term. Short term, probably likely a pullback. Any kind of a tick below this 4 hour going to get you a move down to the 9 exponential. On the hourly, are we getting any divergences on the hourly? Let's see. So coming back from this point right here, yes, indeed. If the hourly can't close above there, you're going to have several drives. I mean, many drives of prices making higher highs, RSIs making lower highs. No, it would be hidden bearish divergence. So in an uptrend, prices making higher highs, RSIs making lower highs. No, we don't have any divergences. Prices making, let's see here. Are we getting a lower high? Yes, indeed. We are getting a lower high on the hourly time frame. And we are getting higher highs from this point right here. Actually, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, several drives of, what is that called? There it is. Hidden bearish divergence. I always get these mixed up. So price is making lower highs and RSI is making significantly higher highs and getting many drives. And we're in the bullish control zone. So it is completely fine for us to get a move back down to 41,171. Also, we have declining volatility, which is showing that, hey, we're getting a bit of a reset. So what we want to see on the shorter term time frames is Bitcoin to kind of hold the higher lows here and get a reset, volatility to come all the way back down. And then I would be looking for the next move higher, any kind of an hourly closure above here. Next stop is 43,950. Okay, I think that covers it up. What about the weekly? We do want to talk about the weekly here really quick. And just, again, last week, we're waiting for a closure above 40,150. We did not get that closure. This week's closure will come up on CMEs in about 2 days. So let's look at CMEs and any kind of a closure. I would say here or higher, 41,550. That will confirm the hidden bullish divergence, which is when RSI is making lower lows, yet price is making higher lows. And that should confirm a move to the top side of our range, that $52,000 level that we're looking for to get tagged. And that, again, is where I would be looking out for a big fat bull trap, somewhere around 52 to 55,000. Okay, and we got declining volatility. So all we want to do is see volatility tick up from a low level like it is right here. It's the lowest level we've actually seen. So that is indicative of a big move to the upside. I wouldn't be surprised if we take out 50. Well, let's throw on a retracement here, right? So from wick to wick, if we can take out 55,000, I'll look for new all-time highs on a weekly time frame. And I would even go so far as to say if we can get a daily closure back above 55,000, where does that line up with here? Actually, from this consolidation, we've been consolidating here since, January, right? About 3 months, the whole quarter this year. And what's a bullish retracement look like on this guy? So yeah, that would, on bullish volatile markets, that 423 and the 3618 tends to get hit. But again, first stop here. Look how these things line up perfectly. The 1618 is right there. The 2618 is right there. And typically, how does it go with the Fibonacci's, right? We come up here, test there. Test this guy again, maybe even come back down to the 618 and then something like that. And then test again and then something like that. That might be the case for Bitcoin. But again, all that will get invalidated with any kind of a closure back below. I would even go so far to say, again, on the 4-hour time frame, any kind of a 4-hour closure below this wick here, 37,180 very likely gets continuation down to 34,390, and that will roll into the higher term time frames. So we don't want to see that happen at all. We want to see onwards and upwards from here. What else do we want to talk about here? Okay, so that's it for Bitcoin's price action. Now I do want to touch on something we've been talking about for the Consumer Price Inflation Index. I know it sounds boring, but I'm just going to throw this in here and see if it pops out. And so CPI is expected to, I hate cookies, so no, we won't accept you. CPI is expected to come in at 7.8%. And those numbers are going to come out tomorrow. And month over month, it's 0.8% minus food and energy, it's 0.5%. So month over month, what that means is you just take 0.8% and times that by 12 months. Inflation comes out this year at 9.6%. And then if you subtract food and energy, which I don't know why they would do that, it's 0.5%. So these are numbers you should be writing down. So 0.5% times 12 months, they expect inflation at 6%. So here's the key point I want to take away from this. Tomorrow, if we miss those inflation numbers, it doesn't really matter. Why? Because the energy shock, which, what am I talking about when I say energy shock? Let's look at oil real quick here. What's oil doing today? Oil at $120 a barrel. And there's people calling for $200 a barrel. But the oil shock, it's just not even going to hit us. Why? Because they don't look at February 28th prices. Okay. They look from February 1st to February 10th. And let's say that's $90 a barrel, right? And then they look from February 11th to February 20th. Let's say it's $95 a barrel. And then they look from February 20th to February 28th. Let's say it's $100 a barrel. And then they take the average price, right, which is right in around 95, right? And then they're going to say, okay, everything looks just fine. And the bottom line, even if inflation comes out higher than expected, again, they're expecting inflation numbers to come out at 7.8% tomorrow. Let's say it comes out at 8%. Probably not going to be a big deal in comparison to the April numbers, which should reflect more of the oil shock. So February CPI numbers come out tomorrow, March 10th. Then you got the FOMC meeting, rate hike on March 16th. And the March CPI data will not come out until February. So bottom line, the Fed has been more dovish with the war going on. And that is in line with Nasdaq getting a little bit of a bounce here. However, we are in a big downtrend, okay? This is a daily downtrend, and we do have the death cross right there, and we have been saying, hey, it's okay if Nasdaq wants to come up and test that green 55, but that is typically your first sell, and probably people will be selling right off the 21 right there. So does that align with Bitcoin rallying to the moon? I don't know. What I would say, though, is if we can get Nasdaq back above 1569, that's going to look for, good for new all-time high. So maybe all we need is this test. It's probably going to go like this. These are the ranges, right? So break above here on a daily, going to test here, and break above there, going to test the all-time highs. That is what I'm looking at right there. So again, bottom line, Fed's being more dovish right now because of the war going on. But, and what they're saying is we're going to get 0.25% rate hikes from here on for the foreseeable future. However, why you want to write those inflation numbers down is if inflation keeps coming in higher and higher and higher, well, the Fed might have to Paul Volcker us. They might have to Paul Volcker us and really shock the system to fight inflation. So that's it for that. We covered the Janet Yellen leak. And now it's time for our altcoins that I promised yesterday. I'm going to go ahead and start it off with XRP. And here's what I would say about XRP, okay? Let's pull it back. So I was just talking about I was just talking to somebody in the XRP army yesterday, and they just got blind faith on this thing, and that is fine. But when you look at the chart, when Bitcoin hits new all-time highs, right? April of 21, Bitcoin hits, or call it May or whatever it was, April, May. We hit 69,000. We made new all-time highs, and this guy did not even break its all-time high. That is a sign of weakness, okay? And even today, XRP's up 6%, Bitcoin's up 9%. That's not bad. And I will say this, it did hold up relatively well compared to some of the other altcoins, but again, anything that's been that weak for that long and has a big lawsuit over its head, I don't know why anybody would want to be messing around with that thing. But that's just my opinion, and I could be completely wrong. We could all be using XRP as the global reserve currency next year for all I know. But as far as I can tell, that's probably not going to be the case. And so what do we have here on the daily time frame? And I would say any kind of a daily closure back above 78, we're going to get a move to 90 cents. And that would look very, that's a decent sized move, waiting. So patience is always the name of the game in these things. That's a 13% move. And if we throw on the fib here, if we can get closure above 91 cents, we're going to get a target of $1.09. And that is going to have probably bleed onwards and upwards from there. But that would be in line with whatever Bitcoin does. If Bitcoin wants to take off, then XRP is probably going to have, just a trailing run behind Bitcoin. The other one everybody asks about, and I talked to somebody in the Cardano army as well, or Cardano as some people like to call it. And I'd be really interested, if anybody can really just throw down the use case for Cardano and just make me look like a fool. I'm happy to hear their comments, but again, this is one which let's see if we can get it on a different exchange for a little bit more price action. Cardano. So on Binance, is that the one? Is that the one with the most price action? Let's see. No, that's ADA BTC. That's not the one we want. We want, is it Bitfinex? Let's see. Yes, I believe this is the one. And we have been talking about this critical support level, which did get broken here and has a measure move, a very nasty measure move to the downside. If this is like an inverted cup and handle, you could almost see this as a head and shoulders. This was a head and shoulders right here. So you got shoulder, maybe got invalidated right there. So this is a sloppy head and shoulders or a cup. And, I'm looking for targets on this guy down here. If we can get back above $1.21, hey, I would be invalidated and probably going to at least test $1.60. Above there, I'm expecting big moves to the upside, retesting the highs probably at $3. So again, one to be patient with, but you got the daily desk cross right here. And you've got the 9 and the 21 just governing this price action. Can't get above it for its life. The last of the Mohicans, right, is that purple 200. If we can get above there, that's going to look good for, a nice move to the upside. But as far as this goes, don't fight the trend. Let the trend be your friend till the end of the trend, right? How would we get a trend reversal? Well, we need a higher high and then a higher low. And you can see we're just getting low. Well, here was a higher high, but then we got a lower low. So it wasn't a trend reversal, right? So we got lower high, lower high, lower high, and we got lower low, 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 extra lows, right? So would I expect this guy to put in a lower high somewhere around here? If I was playing the trend, yes, I would. However, let's take a look at some of the underlying market dynamics or the other indicators. So yeah, Stokes are remaining to the downside as long as we're closing below 86. Could cross up here on the daily today. And then do we have any divergences? Yes, we do. So that's going to look good for at least a move up to the green 55 at $1.02. Why? Well, I'll draw it out here. Hidden bullish divergence on the daily time frame. So you got 1, 2, 3. Is that 4? Is that 4? No. Yeah, so it's coming back all the way from this point right here. 1, 2, I'd say that's 2 drives because you want to see clear stop and reverse points. Actually, could we draw this back here to this point right here? So 1, 2, 3 drives. And then, yes, we do have it coming in from right here. So that is going to be 1, 2, 3 drives of hidden bullish divergence, which typically first target is the 21, second target is the green 55 at $1.04. So we will see what Bitcoin does here. If Bitcoin does want to play out some downside and get rejected here, I imagine it doesn't bode well for Mr. Cardano. On the other side, if Bitcoin does want to break, above this level and head up to the highs, I'd imagine that helps out Cardano quite a bit. Okay, what else do we have on the list? Luna and Atom, and I'm going to wrap this thing up today. So Luna is in the critical zone on the hourly time frame. We are way up here. And that is averting any kind of bearish divergence at the moment, bearish divergence, prices making higher highs, RSI is making lower highs. So, yeah. So, but what is hidden bearish divergence? Prices making lower highs, RSI is making higher highs. I'm gonna put up a chart on this so you guys can all look at it. But here's what I would say. Let's forget about the lower term time frames. Let's look at the higher term time frames. And I'm just going to take all these lines off here because it's just getting sloppy as ever. Let's take off the lines. Let's move this over here. Yeah, this is why I drew this. Okay. So can we get it all to come together, please? Here we go. So this is Terra Luna, symbol Terra Luna, against the US dollar on a daily time frame. And you can see here that we did get a short-term pullback. And we did come test the 21, which is typically a decent buying opportunity after you get the silver cross right there. And now we are about to have, well, in fact, we do have a new all-time high today. Coming in here at, what was the high of, let's see, what was the high? $104.85. So just got new all-time highs. Typically, first time we test the new all-time highs, you sell off of it. Okay, but any kind of a daily closure above there, that's going to look good for a major move. And how would I get that move? Well, this looks like one very long consolidation on the weekly. So we'd measure from this high to this low on a wick basis. And let's see what we get here. Luna, target of 140. Okay, any kind of a daily closure above there. More specifically, a weekly closure above there. Typically going to get a move up to that 140 region. And again, this isn't financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. But that new saying I came out with, which is sell the breakout, buy the support. So what does that look like? You get a breakout here. Maybe it gets up to here. And then, or maybe even up to here, right? But you can get a major backfill. Sorry, that was just a sloppy little thing here. So let's say the breakout goes like this. And typically these weekly candles do get some kind of a backfill. So at the end, what is a backfill? Is when the price just retraces slightly down below it. So let's say we close the week. Let's move this higher. Let's say we close the week somewhere like this. Big green candle like that, right? On Sunday at 4 p.m. Pacific time, we close something like that. And then what happens? Well, immediately on Monday, price action backfills about half of the candle, or sometimes it's only a third in bullish markets. Sometimes it's the whole candle it backfills. This one, right? Very, very little of backfill. And then you can see declining volume here as well. So on this candle, we backfilled almost the whole thing. I would expect some kind of a backfill and a retest of the support, which is going to be your breakout level. So once, right? Once you break resistance, this now becomes the support level. And then there's typically two buying zones that people look at. The first one is a 786. And the second one is a 618. Below the 0.5 is a full retracement typically. And some people will buy this 382. But any kind of a break back below $65 and this thing is going down to doggy town. So that's something to be aware of. And let's take a look at the stochastics on this guy. So we're going to be momentum to the upside as long as we're closing weeklies above $62. So that's looking good. And what else on the daily? What does the daily say? We're going to turn up. Excuse me. Already crossed up on the daily here, just barely. And if we close below 94, momentum will turn down. So we are well and away from that. And, you know, it looks like we're about to be in a blue sky breakout. And if Bitcoin does do its magic here, I would imagine this guy is really going to do good. And we're probably, it looks like short-term continuation a little bit higher. You know, maybe where would I get a target on an hourly chart here? Well, we would take the last consolidation here. And it looks like we already hit the 1618. Yep, we already hit this guy. I'd say next target is 106. And what I would be looking for is bearish divergence on the hourly to get the next move down. So right now, we don't have any of that. Price is just making higher highs. RSI is making higher highs. And I don't think RSI has even gotten that high yet on this guy. Right? If we go back, has RSI ever gotten that high? Okay, last time we got that high was October 21. And what was the price of... What was the price back then? October 21, we're at 44 bucks. So as you can see, Mr. Luna has had a very nice run, and we are putting out a video on why this thing is running later this afternoon, some of the news behind it, some of the technology behind it. So be looking out for that video. And okay, last one, Adam here. And this one does have a nice target. I don't know why I had it drawn in like that, but this one looks like it wants to tag up there. And we are revisiting these highs at the moment. And so here, you know, Luna's up 21%. Adam's been one of the other strongers. And I would say Adam kind of follows along with what Luna is doing, just plays a little bit of a catch up. So again, you can see these targets are clearly getting hit just by taking the retracement right there. We got the 1618. So next target is going to be about 32 bucks. So I don't know why I had this line here, but let's move it like that. And this is from this consolidation right here. And you can see, yeah, the 1618 just got hit. So volatility is increasing, and on the hourly time frame, we are crossed down. We'll cross up with any kind of a closure above 3108 in the next 5 minutes. So could this guy come back down and cool off a little bit? Yes, absolutely. As long as we don't crack back down below, and I would say let's put it on a 4-hour to get a little bit better of a look here. And the 4-hour time frame is going to come up here. So where would I look for a failure on this run? Any kind of a 4-hour closure back below 29 bucks. If you want to be more conservative, a 12-hour below there. And I would look for this rally to get failed here. And yeah, any kind of a 12-hour back above this guy very, very likely gets us that continuation back to the upside. And how, again, we can look at this on a fib retracement basis, wick to wick here. So that wick to this wick, and any kind of a 12-hour closure back above here at 3164, and I'm looking for basically a new all-time high to get hit. So that would be right in line with Luna playing out a bit of a bounce and or continuing on, and Bitcoin actually just revisiting the highs. I think that would draw the next move out of Mr. Adam. And so I'm going to leave it off with there. Leave it off there. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, we're not financial advisors. It's not financial advice. If you enjoyed the daily analysis, click on the link, subscribe. That'll get you the reminders of all of our daily updates and all the videos we put out. And if you are interested in learning about incorporating Bitcoin or other cryptos in your IRA, there is a link in the description below. You can get a free investor guide there. Thanks a lot and have a blessed day.